Running low on fuel shouldn't slow you down. That's where Juice Fuel comes in. Wichita's convenient mobile fueling service that brings the gas station straight to you. Whether you're managing a fleet, running a job site, or just don't have time to stop and fill up, Juice Fuel delivers fuel directly to your vehicles, saving you time, money, and hassle. No detours, no downtime, no waiting in line. Download the Juice Fuel app, visit juicefuel.com/Wichita, or give them a call at 316-402-2246 to learn more. Hell yeah. Well, those ball markers were sweet.
They are. How many did you make?
Got about 10 of them.
Nice.
Gonna make more colors, but we'll see.
Well, here we are.
Probably do teas.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More expensive than actually buying these, though.
Probably so. Probably so.
Well, we made it. 50 episodes. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Very impressive. I remember you telling me at the very beginning, just get past 3. What is it? 97% of podcasts end or before 3?
Yeah. I think it was like 99.
Yeah.
99% of podcasts don't make it past the third episode.
Yeah.
Here we are, man. About a year in, 50 episodes in. I remember one of the first episodes we recorded, and then I hit the delete button on the machine, and we lost all our audio.
Well, the first ones were... the first one was just audio, wasn't it? You and I.
I think so.
And then it was just you and I for the next couple, and then we started getting guests. I think that, and we could, who knows what this could grow into variation-wise, but the guests and having it be a Wichita-based podcast has helped us go way past 3. Because it's just something new every time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not a niche, not being like a pinhole to a certain industry.
Right. Because there's only so many real estate. Now, you could probably make a great real estate podcast. Not saying you can't, but there's only so many real estate people in Wichita that you'd want to talk to versus talking to, the 49 people or 48 people we've talked to.
Yeah.
Just across all industries. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. There's been some growing pains in the process for sure. Like deleting the audio, forgetting to turn my AC off.
Oh, yeah.
My AC sits right above us. There's been some growing pains, but I feel like all in all, it's been pretty smooth.
Yeah. The only big scare for me was after the Baker pod. We couldn't figure out how to get that one onto the computer. That one of all of them.
Yeah.
Had technical difficulties, but we got it done, and it ended up being great.
Yeah, that was so crazy getting Ron.
Oh, my gosh. Ron, all the WSU guys, PJ. Like, that was 2006. Like, we were 12 and 10, prime years of fandom. And then he walks into your basement and we do a podcast with him. Same with Mike Kennedy. Been listening to him for our whole lives, calling Wichita State baseball, basketball games. He comes down here. And the kindness of people. You put yourself out there. Like, how many times have we been, like, big dogged and somebody said no? I don't think it's happened.
I don't think it's happened either.
Like, we've had people, we've tried to get people on that it hasn't worked out, but it's not because they think they're too big for us.
Right.
Which is super cool because people can say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting Mike was so awesome, especially how early into it we were. Just reached out. I remember reaching out to one of, like, an assistant or somebody that works at WSU. They were like, I'll pass your info along and see if he has interest. And then I got an email back, said, Mike would love to do it. Here's his contact info. And it was as easy as that.
Right.
And God, he had so many great stories.
He did. Most of our guests, like Lutz. Lutz was another one. Just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Wichita, but especially Wichita City League. There's not anyone that knows more about the Wichita City League than Bob Lutz, probably. Maybe a couple, but he's in there. He's in that group.
Yeah. Yeah. And even before that, getting to sit down with Mike Gann, Colonel in the Marine Corps, served 7 tours. He's made it easier because people have asked me, do you ever get nervous before podcasts? Sure. But then I'll think about, like, man, we sat down for 2 hours with a colonel in the Marine Corps. Like, it adds perspective. Like, okay, you can do this. Like, I don't know.
There's a difference between knowing somebody, though. Like, we know Mike.
True.
And have known him for a while. But still, you're talking about it's a delicate conversation to have. And we aren't professionals by any means
No.
when it comes to interviewing. And so, yeah, it was difficult, but it ended up being fantastic. I mean, the first guest we had was to travel with the wise guy. I remember being nervous before that.
Oh yeah.
All right, I've seen this guy on YouTube a lot. Here we go. Haven't had a guest other than Eric Reed, our cousin Eric, someone that we'd never met before. And that's another thing that's funny with these is we've never met these people before.
Right.
We text with them before the pod, and that's it. That is it. It is we don't know them when they come on here, and we meet them through the podcast, which is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say we've probably had 45 guests, maybe somewhere between 35 and 40 we're meeting for the first time when they come over.
Yeah. Prominent people.
Yeah.
Lily Wu, Susan Peters.
Yeah.
These women that just will show up, come down your basement stairs and do a podcast with us. Like, it's pretty amazing, man.
Yeah. They come into my musty basement
But I think that has something to say with what we're doing in Wichita.
yeah.
People are proud of the town, and people like talking about it, and there is a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And people have a sense of pride.
Yeah. And people have great stories, and there's not very many outlets to talk about it.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree.
Like Jake Dunn. Like, how awesome was Jake Dunn talking about the Great World Race? Obviously, he's on meteorologist, so he's on TV, but he never really gets to tell his story. It's great to, a guy like him.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Tremendous.
Yeah. Well, we do have some clips, some of these clips that have done well on social media. It's funny how that game works.
I know.
You just keep firing. Some things you think are going to really do well, flop.
Yeah.
And some things you're like, let's just, stay at the top of people's social media feeds, like, let's see what happens. And then it goes super viral, gets 100,000 views or something.
The social media aspect of it is one of the more interesting things, something that I had no idea about, and then something I have learned since doing the podcast. It's crazy. You really don't know which ones are going to hit.
No.
We had our first big one talked about Civil War cemetery out in Kentucky or something that went crazy.
Yeah.
200,000 views, and we didn't even know what we were doing when we were clipping that and putting it out. And then we see that going crazy. We think, holy crap, this is unbelievable. And then you think ones are good and they get 800 views and die on the vine immediately. You just don't know. You just got to keep shooting.
I know. Before we get into them, I do want to go back to Lily.
Mm-hmm.
There's been multiple people that asked me, like, so how did this work? So you just reached out to the mayor, and she came over to your house and came in your basement, did a podcast with just... I was like, well, yeah, that about sums it up. They're like, I don't know. People don't realize how approachable, which is a great thing about Lily, is she's very approachable.
Yep.
She's always out and about. She's always willing to talk to people, so it's just funny that, like, how'd you get her?
I know.
I'm like, well...
And we've had, even our uncle Mike, we've had people ask us, and multiple people like, how did you guys get Miss Dugan?
Yeah.
And they don't even know that she's from Wichita.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we went to high school with her.
Yeah.
We went to grade school with her.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. There were multiple people that said that to me at the Wichita State game after we had Molly.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get Miss Dugan? I was like, I went to school with her.
Yeah.
She's from Wichita. Like, no way. Like, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny, man. Funny. Do we want to go through some clips?
Let's do it.
All right. The first one we had that really went off was that John Wise clip. Can you play
The
that,
wise
Mike?
guy.
That's got 190,000 views.
Yeah.
On Google Maps, there's a cemetery, and I'm like, I'll go check out this cemetery, but it's down a dead-end road, and and there's a guy a farmer walking down the road, and I'm like, hey, is there a cemetery? I just like checking out old cemeteries. Is there a cemetery down? He's like, oh, yeah, go down here and turn left. There's a gate. Go through the gate. There's cows, but don't worry about them, So I go up, find the cemetery, and he's like, but if you're interested in that stuff, here's 2 other ones in the area that people don't know about. So I go to the one, it's cool, it's all just kind of grown over, but really old, and then I go to this other one, and it's on like a farmer's property. But this guy said, it's fine, don't worry about it. People go to it all the time. and because it's like this historical area. So I go up there, and I'm looking at this old guy. He's got to be 75, 80 years old. He rolls up in the truck, and he's like, interested in the cemetery, I see, real Southern guy. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's a Mormon cemetery. And I'm like, Mormon? You're in Tennessee? Were there a bunch of more? He's like, no, these are the only ones. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, they came here. They tried to start a community. The people here in the 18 whatevers didn't want him there. And they took him to the county line and they killed him. And then this is where they buried him. And so Mormons come there regularly to have some sort of a remembrance or whatever. And I go, why'd they kill him? He goes, because they's Mormons. It was like,
Wow.
So you talk about like a history project. This is a guy that like owned this farm probably for his family for generations. And he was like, yeah, some president crossed the river right here, and this is where he, and this is this whole historical place. And you're like, oh yeah, that's why they killed him. They didn't like people that were different.
Dude, he is killing it.
Yeah, he is.
He's got so many subs on YouTube.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does. He busts his ass.
It's just a solo. He's just out there by himself with his drone and his cameras, making it all happen himself.
Good
Really
for him,
remarkable.
man. I think he posts 3 videos a week.
I believe it. Think about like listening to that, how the whole community was just killed. Think of how many people have been lost to the sands of time that have been, groups of people wiped off the earth that are never thought of or spoken of again.
Oh yeah.
Countless.
Yeah.
Countless.
There's just been so much killing throughout history.
Yeah. Well, that's how it was.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that was a crazy story though. God. And we've had other clips that do great, like hearing Mike Gann talk about being cautionary even when you're around kids overseas. He's got a great clip of that.
I don't remember that one.
The Marines exist for one thing, right? To break things and kill people. And then you start making them, hand out backpacks, with school supplies to kids. Winning hearts and minds, yeah, shit. And, one of them kids turns around and they load up one of those backpacks with an IED and send him off into the, because you know what? Americans are decent people, and they see little kids and they're drawn to them, like the little puppies, or kittens that they would find on the ground, and they would, the same with kids, they gravitate, and we would give them, we'd throw them candy, and we would give them water, and we would give them food, mistake. I mean, it's just like feeding, the ducks down at the, at the pond, right? But they would come up and we would allow them to get in close, and sometimes that meant with catastrophic, end. And holy shit, you want to talk about, eye-opening experience? When, you read about it, you think about it, okay? But when you see it, you're just like, oh my God, really? That is the way the world is.
How do our active duty military assimilate back into modern society? The fact that we give them nothing and they see things like that, little kids blowing themselves up into pieces, not having any idea really what they're doing, and probably killing some of their friends. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Seeing all these politicians get rich and all this BS going on, and we don't take care of the people that experience that.
Yeah.
What in the hell are we doing?
Yeah. How we treat our veterans is terrible. It's terrible. There's like on average 7 veterans a day take their lives or something close to that.
Just doesn't get, people talk about it, but nothing gets done about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing gets done about it. I think they should live, I think they should be able to live off the government for 3 to 5 years, not have to worry about work, go get free hunting and fishing licenses to the national parks. And after 3 years, come back and, try to assimilate, something like that. All you have to do is take a little bit of money from ex-senator and you can fund the whole thing.
Yeah. Especially with how much money we're sending overseas.
Oh, it's a joke.
It's like, how could we not address the veterans when they come home?
It's kind of shows you exactly where we're at as a country.
Yeah.
mean, that is a perfect image of where we are at.
Yep. Hearing that from Mike was just, I don't know. It was a real treat that he opened up like that to us.
Oh, man. Because you didn't know and you didn't want to ask. That was kind of the thing we had going into Mike's podcast was, we didn't really know any specifics really of Mike's career over there. We knew he saw a lot of bad things. And so that's what made that podcast tougher than, BSing with a friend, obviously. But the way he was down to talk about anything, what did he say before the podcast? Do you remember?
Yeah, we said something like, if there's any place you don't want us to go, we're more than happy to avoid that. And he's like, fire away, fellas.
Yeah, right. That is just who he is. Man, what a treat that was. Thanks again, Mike. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. That got so many views for it being in the early days.
Yeah.
Deservedly so. I mean, Michael Gann's a fascinating guy. Tons of experience.
But you never, like we were just talking about earlier, you don't know what these social media platforms, especially TikTok. You don't have, you really go from, like what Molly Dugan told us. She went from 0 to 1 million or something like that in a night. That's possible. So you can be early in TikTok and still have good, videos that go off. You just got to get in there. Crazy algorithm that no one really understands.
I know. And then Lily, hearing her talk about her story getting to Wichita, it's a good reminder the American dream's still alive.
Oh, yeah. Totally agree. Really, and we're not huge political guys. We follow local. I don't give a damn about national, but we follow local. And all of the local people we've had on have been great.
Yeah.
Dalton, Pete, obviously, Beatty, and Lily. They've all been, and they've been so receptive to us too. They didn't big dog us, say, the mayor didn't. If the mayor's not doing it, come on.
Yeah, no kidding.
You don't really have an excuse to be doing it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, they've all been great. They've all been great to us. She's got a great story. One that sticks out to me that was fantastic was Charlie Ebright.
Oh, yeah.
He was phenomenal. Just a guy that knows a lot about a lot.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to military history.
Right.
Hearing him talk about World War II was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
He had insight that, like when he talked about dropping the second bomb.
There were a lot of people online
Never thought about
calling
that.
him, saying that's BS. And there was a lot of comments and whatnot, but that just comes with the territory.
But him talking about Stalingrad, that was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Obviously, Hitler wanted to take Stalingrad, which bears the name of the leader, and that fight down there. That's the war right there. If you're coming here from another planet and you're like, teach me about World War II, that's where I'm taking you. I'm taking you to Stalingrad. More people fight there, more people die there than in any other part of the war, and it's hell on earth.
25 million Soviets died before 1945.
Yeah.
25 million?
Yeah.
And it's
How many Americans died in World War II?
400,000.
It was almost 20% of Russia's population, I believe.
It's crazy.
And people wonder why the Russians are the way they
Oh,
are.
they're tough, man. Russian history.
Well, how they trust nobody.
No, true. Yeah.
25 million people compared to us at 400,000.
Yeah.
That
Now-
is
Now, a lot of it's
unbelievable.
Stalin's fault. The scorched earth thing he did. If you look at Ukraine today, right, there's massive population. Most of the Russians live in the West. Most of their population is there. And as they retreated, they destroyed everything that the Germans could use, but what about the people that live there could use? They're literally digging holes in the earth just to find shelter. There's no shelter. These people are starving to death. Most of it's starvation.
Man.
That's just a wealth of info.
Yeah. It's hard to really put in that number into perspective.
Yeah.
We had 400,000 people die. And a lot of people, now that those generations are phasing out and dying off, but a lot of people know somebody that died in World War II, or you're related to somebody. Not everybody by any means, but plenty of people. 25 million? That's like every single person's dad dying in a war.
Yeah.
Or it could be even more than that statistically. It could be everyone's dad and brother, depending on how many people Russia have in their country. That is an unfathomable amount of people dying.
Yeah. Really hard to comprehend.
Yeah. 400,000 is what we had. Yeah. And we remember that war in reverence as we should. We did a great thing there going in and helping winning that war. We lost a ton of people. We lost 400,000 people.
Yeah.
25 million people. Staggering.
Truly. That Eastern Front was, it's where the war was won. I think that's exactly right. And Charlie tells it great. He was fantastic. We went, 2+ hours with Charlie?
Yeah. We hit every single American war. And he's such a revolutionary war nut too.
Yeah, I know.
I love that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, him talking about the Dorchester Heights. That was great to hear that. How they surrounded the Dorchester Heights with cannon. When the British woke up, they were just surrounded by cannon.
Right.
Crazy.
We get into the Swamp Fox on that one?
I don't remember.
I don't either. That's a great character. If you don't know who the Swamp Fox is, Google him in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie was great. And then Molly. I've known Molly forever. We go into school with her. But hearing her get famous overnight, she is hilarious. First of all, her videos are hilarious. And her story of literally going from 0 to 1 million followers overnight it's really great.
It is.
I had literally not a single follower. I don't even think I followed anyone on TikTok. And I actually don't really know what came over me. I saw someone else do the First of all, let me tell you here, everyone thinks Miss Dugan started things my students have said. She did not start that. I do not plagiarize. I'm an English teacher, okay? A friend sent me another teacher doing that, and I was like, God, the things I have. So I just posted it, thinking my friends and family would see it. And within a day, within 24 hours, I had 1 million views. God. And I didn't have a single follower before that. It was the craziest thing. And so I was in shock. It was just that's a fake number. What? And then I started panicking because I was like, am I going to get in trouble for this? Teachers get in trouble for everything these days. And so I was really scared but nothing really happened. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll make another. And I just kept rolling with it. I just kept feeding it. And here we are today, 1.5 years later.
She is killing it.
She is killing it.
God, what a story.
She's a rock star. God, yeah. I was reading some of those comments. Hilarious.
Yeah, she is super famous.
Yeah. And it's good to see things happen to really kind, sweet people.
Yeah. When she came over, when she was walking in, she was like, "Where are we, Jack? I've never been over here." I'm like, "Well, probably because it's the hood, Mom." We're in the hood.
Yeah. A little bit.
But she was great.
She was. And thank you to her for coming on again. She's just like that.
Yeah.
Very kind person.
Yep. And then thinking of another one, having Susan Peters on. Hearing her tell that story of when she found out BTK was arrested.
Yep.
That was insane.
Yep.
When he called me and said BTK was arrested, I nearly fainted. But I was at Town East Mall because I didn't go to work till 2 because I did the 10 o'clock news. And it was around noon, and my boss called and said, "You need to get into work right away. Why do we think BTK has been arrested?" I can still feel this in my body. The dizziness and the tingling and the I'm going to faint. And Town East was going around in circles and circles. I didn't realize how frightened I was until that phone call. When he called me and said BTK was arrested, I nearly fainted. I had to sit down, put my head between my legs, get my bearings, and then I burst into tears in the middle of the mall. I had convinced myself that I was not afraid at all. And that's why when he was caught, I realized, oh my God, how frightened I had been, but kept it all down. You got a job to do, and I had a job to do.
Man, the grip he had over Wichita is kind of glad I wasn't able to comprehend. I was so young, I wasn't able to comprehend that, and I'm pretty happy I didn't have to do that.
What
I mean,
a
that's
hard
terrible.
job she had, reporting the news at the time, and knowing that BTK's watching her every night. That
Right.
was his favorite station. His favorite news station was her show with Larry Hatterberg.
I mean, she brought the crossword puzzle and those other original documents to the podcast.
Yeah.
The crossword he made and sent to, where'd she work for, Cake? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, dude. When
that had to have been insane for her.
Yes. When she told that story of Dennis Rader leading that Christ Lutheran field trip to the news station, and she said it was a couple weeks before he got arrested, and he was sitting there in a lawn chair like 30 feet away watching her and Larry Hatterberg report the news. And at the time, the only thing in the news was BTK. So he's just watching them report on him 30 feet away.
Exactly what a psychopath would want.
Yeah.
You know, he had to, at that time, thought he won.
Yeah. And she's got, they released that Netflix documentary, My Father, the BTK Killer. Susan's in that. It's fantastic. And she's got a Spotify series, Monster BTK. Both are fantastic. Listen to them both. You know, she has handled that so well. Yeah, and she came to Wichita after some of the killings had already started. You know, she just jumped right into it. Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, another great guest.
Another one that, you know, just came on. Susan Peters, you know, local celebrity,
Yeah, I know.
was down.
I know.
Crazy, dude. It's so crazy. That's just one of the things that we have learned through this is people are pretty nice.
They are. They are. They're open to doing stuff like this,
Yeah.
you know. But the biggest one, the one I was most nervous for was Ron Baker. I was like, okay, this is a big one. This is big.
Understandably.
When it came about, I remember the day of sitting at work. I'm like, holy cow. That's all I could think about. It's like, we got Ron coming
How
up.
did that all happen? Do you remember how that all came together?
Yeah. Zach
Bush.
heard from a guy I'm assuming he's good friends with a guy I used to work with. And I was talking to him in the early days. I'm like, man, it'd be great to one day potentially get Ron Baker. And his name is Brad Jones, who I was telling this to. And Brad's obviously good friends with the Bushes. And he remembered that. So I think he told Zach that he's like, man, they'd love to get Ron Baker. And then
Wow, we owe him a gift.
Yeah, just out of the blue on a Sunday night, Zach texts me. He's like, hey, man, heard you want to talk to Ron. Here's his contact info. So I just had Ron's cell number, and I shot him a text, and Ron's like, yep, I'd love to do it. And Ron said something. He said, thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for thinking of me. I was like, Ron, I've been thinking about you since I was 15 years old, dude.
Yeah, that's funny. Humble.
Yeah, but him telling the story of his recruiting process and wanting to, Bob Knight to know his name, make the NCAA tournament, that was so great. So great.
Came to Wichita State on a visit in April. Met with Coach Chance, Coach Marshall with my parents. And on the drive back, we're almost to Great Bend, and my dad's like, man, son, that visit went pretty good. And I was like, yeah, it was really good. And he's like, dude, it's April. You gotta make a decision. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna play baseball? Are you gonna what do you want to do? I was like, I want to play basketball. He's like, well, you got two offers. You got South Dakota State, you got Arkansas Little Rock. And Wichita State just had you on their campus. He's like, I have seen Wichita State almost win a national title in my lifetime. He's like, I've seen KU do the same. I've seen K-State be competitive. He's like, if you want to stay in state, if that's what you're wanting to do, stay close to home, then I think this is the right move for you. And he's like, what do you want? What do you want? I was like, well, I want to play in the NCAA tournament. I want to play close to home, and I want Bob Knight to know who I am. And he goes, sounds like you're going to Wichita State. And then we turned left on 96 and went to Scott City and didn't talk about it ever again.
Tell your dad he's got a fan in me.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And we checked all 3 of those boxes in my career. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't wait till they retire him and Fred VanVleet's jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they're going to do it together, I don't know. Is it going to be after Fred retires? Probably would be because the NBA is going to be in season the whole time. College basketball's in season.
Yeah. I asked Ron that on the pod, and he said he wanted their kids to see it and all that stuff. I wonder.
He did say they want to do it together.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they do it soon. It's been, when did they graduate? 16? It's been 10 years.
It might be after Fred retires from the NBA.
Yeah. Man, what a fun time to be a Wichita State fan.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Odds are it won't ever be better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were blue blood good for like 5 years straight. Maybe not quite blue blood, but maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they went Final Four, undefeated, Sweet 16, once or twice.
Yeah. Final Four, undefeated, Sweet 16, and then they were in the first 4. Won the first 4, beat Arizona, lost to Miami.
Right. Yeah, they had a crazy run.
Yeah. Just Ron Baker coming over.
And being that good. Not, he was open for everything. He talked to us for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
2 jabronis he's never met.
Yeah.
Like we're cousins, completely open and cool with us. And
it's funny.
Thank you.
It's funny how many people will hang out, just chop it up even before or after. We've had multiple people just stick around for 30 minutes, just chopping it up. Like Joe Hour. We chopped it up with Joe Hour for a long time on the podcast and then off the podcast.
Yep.
It's like, man.
I don't think underrated is the right word. That was just a good podcast with Joe Hour.
Yeah.
That one needs to not be forgotten for how good that was.
Yeah. And
He
what
was
he's been able to
spectacular.
accomplish.
Yeah. Legend.
Yep.
City League legend, Joe Hour.
Yep. All the guys he's coached, all the big games he's been a part of.
How many championships at Heights?
7? I think he won 7.
Did Perry win 4?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they won all 4 Perry years.
Wow. What a run.
Yeah.
Unbelievable run.
Yep.
He win one with TJ?
I think. I don't know. I know TJ was Gatorade Player of the Year though.
I've just been out of high school for so long I don't track it as well. My kids are getting older though. When they are getting older, I'll be back into it, but
I don't know. But man, yep. Joe Hour was great. Ron was great. It's just 2 guys. It's just 2 guys that don't have to do that. They don't have to come over here.
No. And again, that's what's been so special
Yeah.
about this is people don't have to do this, yet they're willing to do it. And I think a lot of it because they have pride in what they've done and what the city is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's real, it's great when our guests refer other people to us. Like, oh, you'd love him or her. It's just kind of a stamp of approval that, we're really on the right track and doing our guests well, doing homework. it's really great. A lot of
Yeah.
guests have sent us potential to say, "Oh, this is my buddy. He's done this, this, this. He'd love to do it. I'm sure." And even people have reached out to us. It's an interesting dynamic shift.
We don't waste people's time.
No.
When we ask you, now whether the podcast is going to be good or not, but we're going to come prepared, and that's a credit to you, not to me, to you being so prepared, and we give them a great shot at looking good.
Yeah. That's a great thing about this show. It's spotlighting people who have done awesome things in the city or are continuing to do it.
Right.
So great. And then getting Steve McIntosh right after he retired. Fantastic. Steve, that was one of my
Character.
favorite ones, dude.
Me too.
It's
It's like a long lost friend.
Yeah, people have asked, like, were there any unexpected ones that ended up really well? And it's not that I wasn't expecting it to go well, but that went so well. He was hilarious. There was a clip that we posted that got a ton of views on Facebook about Dragon Douglas. Do you have that one, Al?
In Central, they used to have a Griff's. You know what Griff's is? It's a hamburger stand. 15-cent hamburgers. Right next to it was a Pizza Hut, one of the first. And we would go on a Friday night, we'd go down to Griff's, get in the parking lot, sit in our cars, look for girls, get in the cars, go drag Douglas, come back down, sit in the parking lot, and wait for girls to come by. And that's where we hung out. And
Dragon Douglas.
Dragon Douglas.
You got any wild stories about Dragon Douglas?
We dragged Douglas almost nightly for years and years and years. I don't remember ever picking up or even talking to a good-looking girl. And it wasn't that there weren't any good-looking girls. When they saw me, they rolled out the window. I don't know what it was. But we kept dragging. We kept looking.
Good for you.
He's just got that radio voice.
Yeah.
He's got that voice. He's got the timing, punchline timing. He's got it all down.
He does. And he doesn't, you can tell from that, he doesn't take himself seriously.
No.
What a hilarious, self-deprecating story.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yep. It's been great. Jim Nance and Alan Shuckman were great.
Yeah. Man, that one was fun. Going down memory lane with those guys and just pointing out what they did. I mean, they were, they didn't have 7 championships like Joe Auer, but they dominated like Joe Auer did.
Yeah.
Basketball, football, but I mean, they had the city league by the throat for 2 decades.
Yep. Yeah.
Incredibly impressive. And how many great players they coached. How many great players they developed.
I know.
It wasn't like, you could argue Capon had the talent Carroll had, really. It was just those guys have been getting you in the weight room since 5th grade and building you up. And now, by the time you're a senior, you just know exactly what to do. Now, all credit to that coaching staff. What a remarkable run they had.
Yep. There's just, man, I'm just looking at all our guests here. So many of them were great. Chemnitz. Brent Chemnitz, another character.
Oh, yeah. He's got so much fire.
Oh, you can tell the fire is still there. Father Daniel Dooling was great.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we've had some great ones. And we have some really good ones coming up, too.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm
excited.
On the other side of 50, we're going to hit the ground running.
Yes, we are.
And we've got some other things in the works, too, that hopefully we can continue to get off the ground. Man, it's been fun, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we did this.
It's exciting.
I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
It just adds a little spice
to
life.
It does. It keeps you on edge just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
You'll get
great.
nervous too much. Well, you do as an adult. Bad things can happen where you get nervous, but like a little adrenaline nervous.
Yeah.
And this kind of gives that to you.
Yeah, it does, because you just want to do our guests well. They're taking the time out of their day. That's the biggest thing. Like, I just want it to do you well, But we keep preparing. It'll be fine.
Agreed.
Well, man, 50 episodes.
I know. When do you think we'll be at 100?
Well, at this rate, next
50,
year.
50 more weeks.
Yeah. At this rate, next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We'll have to come up with something special for 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something fun.
Who knows where we're at 100?
Oh. No idea. I remember telling you last summer when we first started, like, let's just see where we're at Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, that would seem like such a long goal. And now we're in May, blew past Christmas. Let's see where we're at this Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
Those be our little mile markers.
Yep. Well, this was great to look back. Great 50th. You know, when you hit those milestones, it's good to look back and appreciate all the people that helped you get there.
And how many nice things Jack and I have heard from people, you know, out and about at weddings or run into someone at the bar. Like, you know, just thank you for everyone to listen, because it's ridiculous that people listen to Jack and I.
Yeah.
But thank you. Really, those kind words are pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. We have gotten a lot of kind words. Like, I was just at a wedding a couple weeks ago. You know, people were coming up to me, love the show. You know, they'll joke about some of the guests, like, oh, Kim Nitze, he's quite the character, isn't he? I'm like, yeah, he is. Yeah, people have been very supportive, you know, so very appreciative of that. And, well, we'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
So,
see you on the other side of 50.
yeah, till next time.